What kind of idiot buys a really good camera but neglects his audio setup? Well, you're looking at him actually. I don't have a microphone and the echo is really bad, so I'm using these earpods for now. Anyway, welcome back to episode 6 of Endmyopia, where I try and fix my really bad eyesight that I've had since the age of 7. Firstly, I just want to say a thank you to everybody who left a comment and liked on the last video. It did really mean a lot, and going forward, I'm going to try my best to make a decent vlog sort of thing here and there. I want to talk about a whole bunch of topics related to myopia and eyesight improvement. I've got a whole bunch of ideas for videos. One on some of the clinical studies, one on just like, what I do, like my routine, active focus, how I found active focus, why it's important, all that sort of thing. This is just the beginning, so I don't know where this is going to go. It's going to be a fun ride. It's not like I've spent a lot of money on the equipment to record such a series, is it? So my intention behind this vlog is quite simple, really. I just want it to be a candid, truthful depiction of what it's been like to improve my eyesight over a long period of time. And obviously this is just the beginning, really. It'll be good for both me to look back on, and also for anybody who's considering myopia to just have one more experience to take a look at and see if it's something they're interested in. So I'm just going to discuss what's happened in the past 4 days because honestly I'm still in the early stages, and day by day I can quite seriously just see the difference every single day I wake up. For instance, I can see the 20/30 line on my eye chart, my Snellen eye chart at the correct distance, much more crisp than I used to. Another thing I've noticed is I walk around the house a lot more without my glasses. Clear sudden vision moments where everything's normal and suddenly it's clearer. Now it's still blurry without my glasses, make no doubt about it, but it suddenly becomes so much more clear. It's almost like, as dumb as this will sound, it's almost like it's an act of God just like coming into my eyes, and you almost forget about whatever you were doing at that exact moment and just start focusing on like how good your vision is at that point. It's like, whoa, I can see properly. It's just insane. Obviously it's still blurry though, like that's the main thing. So I've been getting a lot of stimulus through active focus. I try to, whenever I can, go out with friends and family, because every excuse to go out is another excuse to improve my eyesight. And I think there is a pretty good direct correlation between how much active focus, stimulus, and stuff outside that I do, and the results I get when I wake up in the morning the next day. Case in point, I did a lot of driving yesterday in the daylight, and driving's great. Uh, you've always got a new thing to look at and focus on at distance, and it's just constant stimulus for your eyes. And you do feel the tension in your eyes a bit after you're done, but it's never painful or anything. And the results speak for themselves. Maybe it becomes a bit more subconscious. I don't know at that point, but I don't really think about it too much. It's just I just sort of have to make it clear. Now, disclaimer: if you're going to start doing this, don't ever drive without the correct correction for driving. Make sure you meet the legal standard and then some. I don't drive just at the legal standard, I drive above the legal standard, even with these glasses. It's only a tiny bit blurry at distance at this point. Just for the record, when I first got these glasses, I think episode 2, they would have been 100% illegal to drive with. I couldn't see nearly as well as I can now. But now you give me a number plate in daylight, 20, 30, 40 meters away, I can read it with these glasses. 20 meters is the legal standard in the UK. I think that translates to 20/40 vision, I'm not sure. So once again, I want to thank all the great and terrific commenters and likers and people who engaged. I do really appreciate it. I do want to address one comment that I received. And it's actually a really good comment. Paraphrasing, it's simply that my rate of improvement is just too quick. It's an unbelievable rate of improvement, so much so that I shouldn't be believed with these video logs when I say I have actually improved both my eyes by a single diopter in just 2 weeks. Like, that's such a statement, and it's so fast, you're making something up, you're not telling the whole truth. Now, I think you can break that, question down into several factors. And the first factor I want to address is sample size. So the myopia community is pretty humble, we should say, And the number of good progress reports that are documented like consistently, I would say are few and far between. But a lot of people don't document their progress, which is fine. You know, you've got a life to live. But with that said, the people you will know about, uh, they're only a fraction, like a tiny, minuscule fraction of how many human beings there are on the entire planet. So I'm just one guy. You're going to be overexposed to a few case studies that you might have seen in a YouTube video or a nice forum post or something, but you're not going to see a bigger picture of loads of people together. At least not until someone collates all the results or the sample sizes get huge and then scientists like get involved and it's a big thing, but it's not a big thing at the moment, so it's just a small tiddly thing. So all I can really do is give you my own experiences, and my experiences are not going to match another person's experiences. There are plenty of different factors between people, age, eye strain, myopia prescription. There's a lot of factors to consider when comparing rates of improvement between people. For example, Matt Eli has done some really good videos, and he's been on the Endmyopia bandwagon for 5 years now, and he's a great example of consistent, steady progress over a long period of time, and just applying the method. And I think his eyes are very close to 20/20 now, if I'm not mistaken. So everyone's going to have a different profile for improving their eyesight. My profile's different to Jake Steiner's, which is different to Matt Eli, which is different to Angie Hep, which is different to people who post on the forum, the Facebook group, and anybody in between who just doesn't post anything at all. So it's only fair that I be candid and open about the set of circumstances in which my eyes have been in until this point. So I got my first PlayStation at the age of 4, and it was love at first sight, really. I'd played so much PlayStation through my youth, absolutely glued to it at all times, and good fun. I got my first pair of glasses at the age of 7, and as we know, that just shifts the focal plane backwards in your eyes and stimulates the eyeball to elongate. Now, I did so much close up, and almost in a ridiculous sort of way as well. I was told off a lot to stop staring at the screen so close, and with good reason. I would frequently just stare at the screen almost comically close for video games. When I get access to a laptop, 2008 YouTube, I'm just staring, so hard into the screen. Oh, and I used to watch TV like, a normal person would sit down in the couch or settee or whatever. They sit in the chair and just watch it normally. But as a kid, I sat like 3 feet away from the actual screen and just looked up like that. And I did that so consistently. So it's no wonder my eyes are messed up. Even more so, the amount of close-up time I've actually had throughout my life is just astronomical. Now, I only state this as a matter of fact. I'm really not proud to say this, but I used to be what you couldn't really describe otherwise as a compulsive video game addict. So from the age of 4 to 19, I played an excessive amount of video games. I have about 2,500 hours logged in Team Fortress 2 alone. I think across all of my Steam library, which is, the Xbox Live for PC gaming, in case you didn't know. I have about 3,000 best case, 3,500 worst case hours of game time logged. And that's not even counting World of Warcraft, which hasn't been logged at all. And don't even get me started on Minecraft. I mean, that's probably 1,000 hours just by itself. And not to mention, when I wasn't filling my free time with video games, I was probably staring into a YouTube video with full prescription glasses. So, my profile is one of maybe the worst eye strain you could possibly have, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who are worse, they played 4 times the game time as me or whatever. But it's safe to say my eye strain has been absolutely dreadful leading up to this point. In the article talking about the junk diopter, Jake talks about how there's on average, one diopter that is easily shed off most people. But if you have more eye strain, that might come off, there might be more to come off than just a single diopter. And in this case, I'd like to think it pretty strongly applies to me, actually. So the silver lining in all of this is it's going to translate into faster, real improvements. And myopia is a little bit like a cake. There's 3 layers to it. So the first layer is just overprescription, and you get rid of that really easily. You just stop wearing as much correction, you reduce it, and you never needed that correction in the first place. So you're already closer to your true value of myopia. The second part of the cake is eye strain. And eye strain is caused by ciliary spasm. It's caused by a whole bunch of complicated chemical eye processes that I don't think anyone quite understands just yet. But it doesn't mean they're any less real. And the final layer of the cake is axial D elongation. And that's the most effective, long-term, and the real reason you have myopia in the end of the day. So by reversing the elongation of the eyeball, that is the reason you're going to correct your eyesight in the long term. Contributing to my 20% improvement within 2 weeks, I shed off the overprescription from my optician, so that's already a pretty good reduction. I don't know the exact amount. And also I've been progressively reducing eye strain for the past 2 weeks. And I have loads of eye strain, remember. I've got absolutely loads of it. So one diopter in 2 weeks, you know, at first I was like, yeah, why is my rate of improvement so good? But when I actually take all those factors into consideration, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I was also called a liar for some reason. Now, you know, I can't definitively prove that anything I say is true. You could totally walk away from this video and say, you know, the whole thing's a scam and blah blah blah. I wish I could just plug a VGA cable into my brain and then I could really prove it. But until that day, you know, I can't do much more than just recount my honest experiences. I'm a pretty positive person. I don't mean that in a cocky way, you know, but sometimes when something's really I'm kind of the guy saying everything's great when it's not. So maybe my amazingly good substantial progress to me is just meh, not really that good to you. But yeah, as for going into this to intentionally deceive people, well, you know, you'll have to just take my word for it. So yes, that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really do appreciate all of the support. If you want to continue to follow this journey, you can subscribe if you want. I hope to see you in the next one.